For today's lesson, we are going to learn kung paano mag-simplify ng trigonometric expressions using the trigonometric identities. Now, for example, simplify cosine square theta plus cosine square theta times tangent square theta. Now, sa ating first example, to simplify this one, ang first natin gagawin dito is we can apply the idea of factoring. Kasi alam naman natin na yung two terms ng given expression natin dito ay meron silang common factor, and that is, cosine square. Yun yung common ng dalawang terms. So that means we can factor this out. So to factor this out, ang mangyari, we get cosine square theta. Ito malabas yung common factors niya. Then, multiply natin by 1. Of course, kasi gi-factor out man natin. Then, plus tangent square theta. Okay? So, ito na yung resulting natin. Ito yung resulting expression natin when we apply factoring. Now, this time, kung makikita natin dito, sa resulting natin, trigonometric expressions, meron tayong 1 plus tangent square theta. And as you can see, itong si tangent, itong si 1 plus tangent square theta, meron siyang equivalent identities, and that is secant square theta, That is secant square theta. Okay? So, yun yung equivalent identities ni tangent square theta plus 1. So, that means pwede natin gamitin to, to replace 1 plus tangent square theta. So, that means, ito na yung ating resulting expression. We have cosine square theta, then i-multiply natin yan by the value, yung equivalent identities ni 1 plus tangent square theta. That is, of course, that is secant square theta. Okay, so dito na tayo. So again, kung mapapansin natin, meron tayong cosine square theta, then we multiply it by secant square theta. One tip, isa sa mga tips on how to simplify trigonometric expressions, okay, para mas easy yung natin, yung process. Ang gagawin natin is we try to express the given expression, in terms of sine and cosine function. So in this case, since meron tayong secant square dito, so we can find way para ma-express natin to in terms of sine or cosine. And alam naman natin na itong si secant square theta, we can use the reciprocal identity of this one, and that is this. Okay? That is 1 over cosine theta. So in this case, we have cosine square theta. Then, i-multiply natin yan using the reciprocal identity. So, that is 1 over cosine square. So, again, ang ginamit lang natin dyan is the reciprocal identity of secant square theta, which is 1 over cosine square theta. Now, kung mapapansin natin dito, meron tayong ma-cancelled out. Okay? Kung makikita natin. So, that is, of course, ma-cancel out natin si cosine square. So, ang mangyari, resulting expression na lang natin, which is the simplified form, is just equal to 1. Now, para sa ating second example, dito we need to simplify 1 plus tangent square theta over 1 plus cotangent square theta. Now, simplifying this one, alam naman natin na itong si 1 plus tangent square theta at saka si 1 plus cotangent square theta sa denominator are both Pythagorean identities. So that means pwede natin gamitin yung equivalent identities ng dalawa. Na itong si 1 plus tangent square theta, if you're going to refer sa list of identities na nasa taas, ang equivalent identity ni 1 plus tangent square theta is just equal to secant square theta. Then same, for 1 plus cotangent square theta naman, ang equivalent identity niyan is just equal to cosecant square theta. Now this time, we can express the given expression natin in terms of sine and cosine functions. And to do that, pwede nating i-apply yung kanilang reciprocal identities. And alam natin na itong reciprocal identities ni secant square theta, if you're going to take a look on the given identities or list of identities, this is just equivalent to, of course, that is just equivalent to 1 over cosine square theta. Again, yung reciprocal identity ni secant square theta, that is just equivalent to 1 over cosine square theta. Then same pa rin sa baba, sa baba, ang reciprocal, same pa rin, gagamitin din natin dito yung reciprocal identity ni cosecant square theta, which is equal to 1 over sine square theta. Okay, now this time, we can divide the two fractions, So here, alam naman natin na we are going to divide two fractions. Ang gagawin lang natin is we are going to multiply the numerator, which is 1 over cosine square theta, times, of course, the reciprocal of the denominator, which is sine square theta over 1. Okay, then multiplying the numerators and denominators, we get, of course, we get dito, sa taas, when we are going to multiply the numerators, we get sine square, sine square theta. Then sa baba din, sa denominators, when we are going to multiply that one, we get cosine square theta. And alam natin na mas simplify pa natin to by using the quotient identities. Kasi itong si sine square theta over cosine square theta, this is a quotient identity. And the equivalent identity of that one is just equal to, of course, that is just equal to tangent square theta. Again, itong si tangent square theta, yun yung equivalent identity ni sine square theta over cosine square theta. So that means, ang simplified form ni 1 plus tangent square theta over 1 plus cotangent square theta is just equivalent to tangent square theta. Now, para sa ating third example, let's simplify 1 minus cosine square theta over 1 plus sine theta. Now, to simplify this one, ang first natin gagawin dito is to convert the given expression into a single trigonometric expressions. And to do that, ang gagawin lang natin is isubtract ang dalawang fractions. Now, in subtracting two fractions, of course, ang first natin gagawin is to find the LCD. So now, what's the LCD or the least common denominator of 1 and 1 plus sine theta? Of course, that is just equal to 1 plus sine theta. At itong nakuha nating LCD, ang gagawin natin when we are going to subtract fraction is i-divide natin to sa kanyang denominators, and then ang quotient natin is i-multiply natin sa numerators. So to do the process, of course, let's start from the first term, So we have 1 plus sine theta divided by 1. So that is equal to 1 plus sine theta. Then i-multiply natin si 1 plus sine theta sa numerator, which is 1. So that will give us 1 plus sine theta. Then same din dito, i-divide natin si 1 plus sine theta into the denominator, which is 1 plus sine theta. So that will give us 1. Then i-multiply natin yung quotient sa numerator, that will give us minus cosine square theta. Okay, now ang next natin gagawin dito is we are going to rewrite the given expression para makagamit tayo ng identities. And to do that, we have sine theta, sine theta, actually rewrite lang natin yung ating numerator. So that will give us sine theta plus 1 minus cosine square theta. Then over, then over 1 plus sine theta. Kung makikita natin dito, si 1 minus cosine square theta, that is just equivalent to sine square theta, which is a Pythagorean identity. So applying the Pythagorean identities, so that will give us, into our new expression, sine Okay, sine theta plus sine square theta, then over, okay, over 1 plus sine theta. Okay. Now, ang next natin gagawin dito is we are going to factor out, no? So, ang common factor ni sine theta at ni sine square theta, that is just equal to sine theta. So, i-factor out natin yan. So, we have sine theta, then times by factoring. So, that will leave us to 1 plus sine theta. Okay. Then over, we have 1 plus sine theta. Now, dividing the expression, these two cancels out. That will leave us to our final answer, which is equal to sine theta. So, therefore, we have now the simplified form of 1 minus cosine squared theta over 1 plus sine theta, which is equal to sine theta. And that is now our final answer.